Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this video. Well, hello everybody again. And this is a continuation of the Ogham video, but with a twist. Because I was having a conversation with a great friend of mine who is a computer scientist. I have the highest respect for him, and he was looking at the previous Ogham video in which I was saying that the Ogham is essentially the Irish key, the Rosetta Stone, to understanding the Inca Quipu. It is the same thing. So check that video to see how that works, and it works very well. It works very well indeed. But he said, you know, something isn't right. Something's not right. And I said, well, what's not right? And he said, well, Ogham reminds me of a computer language. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, it's actually, he said that is a computer language. That, not really, because of the empty spaces, but this, yes. You can go from one letter to another, not necessarily with a space between them. It is a string. It is a computer language. And what was really troubling him was the type of computer language it was. It is God's original computer language. And when I say that, I mean that. I mean, well, essentially this. That. That is that. It is very, very similar. We'll get to that. Firstly, the legend of Ogham, I have to reiterate this because it seems there was a hunt done in the ruins of the destroyed Tower of Babel for God's original language and turned that into an alphabet. So what happened was, I'm going to read this again because I read it in the previous video. So according to the 11th century Lebor Gebala Aaron and the 14th century Oricept Na and Ekes and other medieval Irish folklore, Ogham was first invented soon after the fall of the Tower of Babel, along with the Gaelic language by the legendary Scythian king, that is Central Asia, Phineas Farsa. Phineas journeyed from Syria together with his friend and a retinue of 72 scholars. They came to the plain of Shinar, that is Sumer, to study the confused languages at Nimrod's tower, the Tower of Babel. Finding they had already been dispersed, Phineas sent his scholars to study them, staying at the tower, coordinating the effort. So it looks like they were doing some kind of archaeological dig on the tower for 10 years. After 10 years, the investigations were complete, and Phineas created in Burla Tobaida, the selected language, taking the best of each of the confused languages, which he called Goidlic after Goidel MacEther. He also created extensions of Goidlic called Burla Fene after himself, Iamberla after Lar MacNima and others, and Beef Lewis Noon, the Ogham, as a perfected writing system for his languages. The names he gave to the letters were those of his 25 best scholars. They're also named after trees, by the way. So here's the funny thing. He was looking for obviously for God's original alphabet, God's original language. And we all know the Tower of Babel. If you watch this channel, you will know the Tower of Babel is a metaphor for the end of the last high-tech civilization, which I have no doubt existed. No, there is no doubt. No doubt in my mind it existed based on all the evidence we've uncovered. And we uncover more every day. And so my friend was saying, in DNA, a DNA strand is a string where each spot can have one of 4 possible symbols. And of course we have the straight across, we have the diagonal, and then we have another straight across, diagonal, straight across, diagonal. And that is what we have in Ogham. So my computer friend pointed out, look, we have the straight across, we have the diagonal, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 possible things to insert. In other words, this is based on a single strand of DNA. And I do wonder, can you if you build this up 3-dimensionally, can you represent a piece of DNA, a string of DNA, which is really God's original language, which must have been found at Babel. Now, my friend pointed out it is one strand because the second strand of DNA is actually redundant. It's kind of to error check and protect the existing strand of DNA. He also said DNA is like ASCII, which took over in the 1930s. Before that, there was an inefficient teletype system. So the stock market crash in the 30s happened because, say, the machine had to wind around once to type the letter A or 26 times to type the letter Z, and this system was very slow, and people looked at their share prices decreasing very rapidly, and they looked at the fact that the teletype was already 6 hours behind, and they panicked. Everyone panicked. They correlated it, and they panicked. But DNA, and also this Ogham system. The Ogham system is kind of like, it's almost like ASCII because it's a string, a code, which then codes for something else, a gene. So here you'll have a string of basically numbers which code for a letter. What language do you know where the numbers code for a letter? None. And that's what puzzled me and it puzzled my friend. Because there is no language like this on Earth. So this is developed as with a computer in mind, a type of computer code. I wonder if this code programmed the Great Pyramid. Architects used a computer using a code like this to program the Great Pyramid. This is the original language of God. And it can be represented by Ogham. DNA can be represented by Ogham. This is unbelievable. My friend also pointed out that early binary transmissions reserved one of the bits for redundant error checking, like the second strand of DNA, except less symmetrical. Now, because of the spaces that you see in the key pool, which are, some of course are reserved for the number 0, and the weird spacing that you see, this is not a computer code. It's analog. This can be a computer code. This, invented by Phoenicius Vasa, whatever his name was, he stumbled upon some ancient depiction of DNA and he turned this into a human language. Absolutely unbelievable, unbelievable. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed that. I hope you have really enjoyed that. This is like an ASCII code, where ASCII codes for characters. That is what is going on here. It's unbelievable. This has actually been nagging me for a long time as well, because I was always thinking, why would you not use symbols? Why would you have to use this? This is so weird. This is how a machine would do it. Have we stumbled upon the code of the ancient computers of the lost high-tech empire, is my conclusion. Cheers, guys. Now, do you know what? I've written a couple books. One of them is probably the best ancient astronauts, one of the best ancient astronauts books ever written. It's called Confessions of the Gods. Check it out, Kindle or paperback on Amazon. And also a pyramids book. The pyramids book is basically, well, it's 137 photos of sites you can visit in Europe, which are prototypes of pyramids. That's an amazing book. It's much deeper reading than the other book, Confessions, but check them out on Kindle and paperback. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this, and also hit me up on Patreon. Cheers. Bye-bye.